This is Soldier Field, the oldest stadium in the NFL and home to one of the most controversial stadium redesigns in sports history. Built nearly a century ago, it was a symbol of Chicago's sports legacy. But in 2003, a radical $632 million renovation changed everything. Designed to merge past and future, the project introduced a futuristic seating bowl inside its original neoclassical shell, creating a dramatic contrast that some call visionary and others call an architectural disaster. In the process, it stripped away a piece of its history, which led to the loss of its National Historic Landmark status and sparked a citywide debate that still lingers today.
This building has been so successful for 100 years now, and while cosmetics sometimes can get upgraded and changed, the events still keep coming.
Was this a bold evolution or an irreversible mistake? One thing is certain: no other stadium in the world looks quite like this one. Soldier Field, located on Chicago's picturesque lakefront, was conceived in the early 20th century as a grand civic monument, but it wasn't always known by its current name. Originally called Grant Park Municipal Stadium, it was officially dedicated on October 9, 1924, before being renamed Soldier Field on November 11, 1925, a solemn tribute to American soldiers who had died in combat. Designed by renowned architectural firm Revered and Roche, the stadium was a masterpiece of neoclassical architecture. Towering Doric columns, a massive stone facade, and an open bowl design allowed it to accommodate enormous crowds. Therefore, from the very beginning, Soldier Field was more than just a sports venue. It was a gathering place for historic moments that extended far beyond football. Throughout its early years, the stadium played host to boxing matches, college football championships, and military demonstrations. In 1926, it hosted the Army-Navy game, drawing an astonishing 110,000 spectators. At the time, one of the largest recorded football crowds in history. That's the equivalent of packing Chicago's United Center more than 5 times over. By the mid-20th century, Soldier Field's importance only grew. Therefore, in 1971, it became the permanent home of the Chicago Bears, replacing Wrigley Field. Here, the Bears created some of their most iconic moments, none greater than their legendary 1985 Super Bowl winning season. But despite its history and prestige, by the late 20th century, Soldier Field had dangerously fallen behind. It was clear it needed substantial upgrades. Compared to newer NFL venues, it lacked modern amenities, premium seating, and essential facilities for both players and fans. Therefore, the debate over its future intensified. Was it better to preserve its architectural legacy or embrace modernization? This wasn't just about sports. It was about Chicago's identity, history, and architectural heritage. Some saw Soldier Field as sacred ground, a war memorial turned sporting cathedral that should remain untouched. But to others, it was a crumbling relic, incapable of supporting the modern demands of the NFL. Therefore, after years of debate, city officials and the Chicago Bears agreed on a $632 million renovation project, $1.1 billion in today's money, as part of Chicago's lakefront improvement plan. This decision marked a turning point. Soldier Field was about to undergo one of the most controversial stadium redesigns in sports history. Instead of simply modernizing the venue, what followed shocked the city and outraged preservationists. The construction began in January 2002, and the stadium officially reopened on September 29, 2003, just 20 months after breaking ground. But this wasn't just a facelift. It was a surgical transformation, attempting to merge history with modernity. Therefore, the challenge fell to Wood and Zapata and Lohan Associates, the architectural firms behind the redesign.
Sort of a moment in time where you'll never see this view again. So we've emptied the bowl out, and now we're going to start filling the bowl up again.
Their plan? Insert a futuristic stadium inside the historic shell of Soldier Field, a concept so bold and unconventional that nothing like it had ever been attempted on this scale. One of the most complex challenges was how to balance the old with the new. The iconic Doric colonnades, the stadium's most recognizable feature, had to remain untouched, but nearly everything else had to be demolished and rebuilt from the ground up. Therefore, engineers had to reinforce the stadium's foundation, installing deep concrete piles reaching 40 feet underground to stabilize the added weight of the modern seating bowl. The project required over 10,000 tons of steel and 350,000 square feet of precast concrete, reinforcing the stadium to withstand the added structural load of the modern seating bowl. The reconstruction of the seating bowl was just as ambitious. The original layout featured a track surrounding the field, but this created poor sightlines for fans. Therefore, the new design brought spectators closer to the action, drastically improving visibility. Steel-supported seating structures replaced the old framework, while curved glass panels were introduced, creating a jarring visual contrast with the original limestone facade. This approach wasn't entirely unique. Stadiums like London's Wembley and Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu also underwent drastic renovations while balancing history and modern function. But unlike those projects, Soldier Field's redesign resulted in a controversial clash of styles that divided fans and critics alike. The biggest controversy? The unusual fusion of classical architecture and futuristic elements, which some critics said made Soldier Field look like a spaceship crash-landed inside a Roman ruin. Therefore, while the stadium now boasted state-of-the-art facilities, it came at the cost of aesthetic harmony and, as history would soon show, a much greater price. Yet, despite the outcry, the stadium introduced features that transformed the game day experience. The new Soldier Field became the smallest stadium in the NFL, with capacity reduced from 66,944 to 61,500. But what it lost in seating, it made up for in premium experiences. Therefore, new club seating and luxury boxes catered to high-paying guests, while every standard seat was reconfigured for unobstructed sightlines. The technological advancements were just as striking. The two high-definition video scoreboards at Soldier Field, installed in 2015, measured 128 feet wide and 40 feet high, nearly 3 times larger than the original displays. Each video board stretches as wide as a Boeing 737 jet and stands as tall as a 4-story building, giving fans crystal-clear views from anywhere in the stadium. But it wasn't just about visuals. Acoustics were re-engineered as well. Therefore, an advanced sound system amplified crowd noise, creating an immersive, high-energy atmosphere designed to enhance home field advantage. The field itself saw major upgrades as well. Natural grass was reinforced with hybrid turf technology, improving drainage and durability. But one of the most critical innovations was the installation of a heated field system, which kept the turf playable through Chicago's brutal winters. Therefore, Soldier Field became one of the first NFL stadiums to combat freezing conditions with an advanced underground heating network. The underground heating system consisted of over 40 miles of tubing, designed to maintain the turf at optimal playing temperatures even in sub-zero conditions. Sustainability was also a key focus. The renovation incorporated energy-efficient LED lighting and water conservation systems. But most notably, it became the first NFL stadium to achieve LEED certification, a milestone in environmentally responsible stadium design. Therefore, while critics debated its architectural success, Soldier Field undeniably set a new standard for sustainable sports venues. The stadium was fitted with low-flow plumbing fixtures, reducing water usage by over 40%, while energy-efficient LED lighting cut electricity consumption by 50% compared to traditional systems. Yet, all of these improvements did little to silence those who mourned the loss of the original stadium's character. In 2006, just 3 years after the renovation was completed, Soldier Field was stripped of its National Historic Landmark status, a rare and highly controversial move. But while many saw this as a tragic loss, others believe the renovation was the only way to keep Soldier Field relevant. Therefore, whether praised or criticized, one thing was undeniable. Soldier Field had become one of the most unique and polarizing stadiums in the world. Its controversial transformation still sparks debate today, but would it even remain the home of the Bears for much longer? The fight over Soldier Field's future had only just begun. Soldier Field's transformation was one of the most controversial architectural projects in sports history. While the stadium was successfully modernized, the cost of these changes extended far beyond the initial price tag. According to NBC Chicago, over 20 years later, more than $640 million is still owed due to interest, $63 million more than was originally borrowed. This staggering long-term cost has only added to the debate over whether the renovation was truly worth it. Losing its National Historic Landmark status in 2006 was a blow to its legacy, and for many, the new design still fails to capture the grandeur of its original form. Some fans appreciate the improved amenities and sightlines, while others still mourn the stadium's lost grandeur. But despite the controversy, Soldier Field has remained an important sports and entertainment venue. Since its renovation, it has hosted major events like the 2015 CONCACAF Gold Cup Final, high-profile international soccer matches, and large-scale concerts featuring some of the world's biggest artists. Despite this, the long-term future of Soldier Field remains uncertain. In recent years, discussions have intensified about whether the Chicago Bears should move to a new stadium. In 2021, the team announced the purchase of land in Arlington Heights, fueling speculation that they might relocate to a larger, more modern facility outside of the city. If the Bears leave, Soldier Field's primary tenant will be gone, leaving questions about how the stadium will be used and maintained in the future. Without the Bears, Soldier Field may become a relic of the past, an architectural gamble that never fully paid off. Is this an opportunity for reinvention, or the final chapter in its long, complicated story? Only time will tell. Ready to be amazed by the next groundbreaking construction project? Click on the video now and dive into a world where engineering and imagination collide. See you there.